Hi, it's Wisdom Wednesdays, and I'm Dr. Sage Breslin. You know, today I have spent a lot of time conversing about leadership and about leadership styles and how we connect with the leader inside us. You know, so many people I talk to have, for lack of a better word, copied their leadership styles. They've found a mentor or somebody that they look up to and who maybe runs a successful business, and they've tried to adhere to the kinds of strategies that that person uses in business and with their teams. And while I think that's great, actually, to have a mentor, to have somebody to look up to, especially if you're brand new in terms of management or brand new as in your leadership role. But I think what stands in the way of your true success is that you'll still just be copying someone else. It won't be your own skin. So one of the things I love to focus my leaders and executives and entrepreneurs into is the opportunity to really dive into your own personal development, to really learn who you are. And maybe that sounds crazy, but so many of us go into business with these preconceived ideas about who we are and who we're going to be. We go in with what the Toltecs called the legacy of the planet. When we're born, we're given ideas about who we are from our parents. We're told who we're going to be by our teachers, our coaches, our communities, our faith systems, our religious worship sites and leaders. And then when we go to school or into sports or both, we're told who we're going to be based on those things. And maybe we go on to training or development, and the folks doling that out tell us even further who we're going to be. And so we enter the world as leaders of someone else's making. And that can only take you so far, because you'll never really just be you. Because honestly, we are the consciousness that resides within this human that we wear and below everything that everybody's ever told us. And sometimes that developmental journey, that investigation and exploration is what liberates us to be ourselves. It's the classical go find yourself, right? Except that's real. That's really important. But how you do it maybe is what makes the difference. I suppose if you were in the 60s, maybe you'd drop acid and go find yourself. But it's not the 60s, and it's time to go find yourself in a methodical, practical, but delicious way. And if you are a leader, if you're a leader in your own household, if you're a leader in your own company, if you're a leader for somebody else's company or country, then you better darn well know who you are. You better take that investigation and exploration seriously. So how do you find yourself? It's a kind of a pretty important question. For me, helping leaders find themselves, helping leaders self-define, is a process of sort of cutting out the chaff. It's actually removing all of the things that get in the way of authentic self. It's constantly taking away the self-limiting beliefs. It's taking away the perceptions and misperceptions. It's taking away everybody else's opinion and chucking it. Because honestly, nobody else's opinion really matters at all to you. Everybody else's opinion is just that, opinion. So learning to cut away all of that excess, all of the things that have nothing to do with your authentic self, but are the makings of other folks. Once we move beyond that, there's a place to really connect with who you are. And some part of that starts with just connecting to your own body, your own being. It's being able to move all the way into your interior, into your core, and kind of figure out, where do you house? Where do you sit in your body? If you have pain in a body part, you're gonna dang sure move away from it. If you have pain in your neck, you may move your head forward, or you may be constantly sitting back, or you may be constantly, oof, 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 right? So can you house in your body symmetrically and comfortably? Are you a person who can live inside your skin? Because if you're not comfortable inside your skin, then we've got to figure out, how do you get there? How can you learn to do that? How can you be comfortable in your own skin? And there may be a whole bunch of things that you have to cut off and check off from that. And once you're inside your own skin, can you tap into something that's greater than you? If you're raised in a faith system, perhaps that's God, or some other word that describes something greater than you. Perhaps it's higher power, universe, source, spirit, whatever you call it. It doesn't really matter what you call it. At least it doesn't matter to me. It might matter to you. It's just being able to tap into that. Because again, if you are going to do something, especially something big, how are you going to power that something? How are you going to power that process? If you try to power it just with your own body and your own resources, it's only going to go so far. But if you're able to tap into unlimited power, unlimited capacity, then it has that opportunity to really soar. Maybe soar infinitely, maybe soar beyond your wildest dreams. So first is getting clear and connecting into yourself and into something greater than you. And then it's making peace with all the ways you used to do it, with all the things you thought you didn't know and all the things that you thought you did know. And it's honoring and respecting what you've been and who you've been in the past. And when you've done that and you can really be gracious and respect what you bring to the table, then there is a place of openness for you to consider, to contemplate, for you to expand and grow into. Imagine if you check off all that stuff, imagine how much space you have to grow into. So as you grow into that space, you're going to notice that you have a clarity you didn't have before, and you'll develop your vision. And from your vision, a mission. And perhaps from a mission to a movement you'll be able to consider first solo, and then communicate to others and communicate to your team. So how does that impact who you are as a leader? Well, how else can you lead if you don't have a clear vision, if you don't have a clear mission? So you have your clarity, and then how do you speak to your team? How do you communicate to your team? How do you role model the leadership that you channel, that you are, that comes through you? You don't have to have a style. You don't have to mimic anyone. You don't have to copy another leader. You have to be yourself. And if you're yourself, if you're authentic and true, and if you're living your values and your morals, if you can communicate that to your team by who you are and how you do what you do, they're going to follow suit.